So I'm here with Harut, and he's with Markarian, Mark Boddix, and he's an engineer. He works with the disability community, and he has done wonderful things with. He's an author of a book called Inclusion and Mobility and Inclusion, and he also has a podcast, Mobility or Inclusion and Mobility and Inclusion. My gosh, am I awake or what? Hi, Harut.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And I said to myself one day, I have this wealth of knowledge, and I'm meeting great people. How can I put this knowledge experience to the best use and impact as many people as possible? And here I am today.
Yes, you have a BS in engineering, and you also have an MBA,
Correct.
and you also have a background in helping with refueling the C-17. I understand that's one of your accomplishments.
So I'm an aerospace engineer. I've been in the field for 15 years, but so I worked with Boeing and I worked with Northrop and many other known aerospace companies. But I thought to myself, how can I make a bigger impact, directly make a bigger impact on more people's lives? And I have a master's in robotics as well. So I said, I'm going to use that knowledge and expertise to help the community of people with disabilities. And that's what I'm doing with Markbotics.
Okay. And you were inspired, I think, by your grandparents. Is that correct? Like they were having.
Well, initially, my first interaction with the disability world, if you will, came when I was doing my thesis dissertation during my master's program at Cal State Northridge. And we were working with a brain-computer interface for individuals with extreme paralysis. So what this technology is doing is allowing the individual to propel the wheelchair with his thoughts. And when I first, saw this technology, I was like, wow, that's really cool. So, and I loved robotics, but I never knew robotics can be used, at that time at least, I never knew robotics could be used for, for this purposes, to help people become more independent, to increase their quality of life. And when I saw that, that's the first interaction that I had between robotics and the community of people with disabilities. And that's when I first time said, one day I'm going to start a company and I'm going to help people with disabilities or assist people with disabilities in becoming more independent and living, an upscale quality of life. And after that, a few years later, my grandparents, due to old age, became completely, dependent on caregivers, family members. And that was the second time I really got interacted with or got hit with the reality. And that's when the trigger went off and said, okay, this is the time when I am going to start my company and live my dream, basically.
So you worked on a wheelchair that can help you go over stairs and also over rough terrain. I understand that you did that, and you're working on something now. Can you tell us? I'm really excited about this. Tell us what you're working on now too.
Sure, absolutely. So the wheelchair, the stair climbing wheelchair, which is not something new, over the years, many people have developed different types of stair climbing wheelchairs. And I found that very fascinating. So the topic of my dissertation during my master's program was basically a revolutionized stair climbing wheelchair, which mimicked the spider's legs. And I did a scale prototype at the time and I published it. And it was a fun project and very fulfilling. But, when when you start a company and you're going to put a product out to the market, you need to take into consideration your target audience and who are you serving and what are the capabilities, what do they need. You don't want to be seen as someone telling them or offering them a fix, right? You want to be partnering with them to find a solution together. And that's what I did. And I found that the best product to go to market with is a mobile robot arm that assists people in picking things up from the ground. So
Yes,
that,
yes. I
yes.
love it.
So as wheelchair users. I mean, we talk about mobility challenged individuals, but usually people think of wheelchair users who are the only mobility challenge, but that's not the case, right? A lot of there's a big spectrum of people that fall into that category of being mobility challenged, and sometimes these people are not even people with disabilities, quote unquote, right? So everybody can use this product. So right now we have a proof of concept, we have a prototype, and you can see it, with a video, and we're looking for an investor to help us bring this product to the market. And that's where we are right now with that technology. And this technology, the vision with this technology is really travels far. It's not just a field of view operation. It's actually for people with blindness, for people with extreme paralysis, where they can control the robot with their voice. It's voice commanded. They can do it semi-autonomously. So basically take the robot to a specific location where you need there's an item that needs to be picked up, and then you press a button and the robot will do the picking up and returning it to you. And you have a fully autonomous function
That
where
is great. That's
the
great.
robot senses that this item does not belong on the ground, so I need to pick it up. So it picks up and places it where you need it to where you need it to. And that's where we are. We're looking for investors right now to take the company to the next level and help us bring this technology to the market and impact a lot of people basically.
That is fantastic. I am so excited about that. And
Yeah, well, I mean, the excitement is definitely there, and our purpose, the company's purpose, really is develop assistive robotics and revolutionize independent living and accessibility. So that's our purpose, and the way we do that is by partnering with the community of people with disabilities.
can we talk about your book for a minute?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mobility and inclusion. I just love it because you make the point, and this is so valid, that if we make people comfortable in the world, then we can exchange ideas with them. If we make things more accessible to them, then we can learn more about them, and they can give more to us. Like
Absolutely.
we can really get interaction,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that, boy, that's a great, wonderful point. And not and like offices may be accessible, but you say that the tools in the office are not accessible as they
Yeah.
should be.
Well, I mean, it all comes down to whether we are segregating or bringing people together. That's what it comes down to. And when I wrote Mobility and Sure, by the way, I never thought in a million years that I'll be writing a book. But the pandemic made us do crazy things, and that's a crazy thing that I did. When I first started the company, it was right before 2020, right before the pandemic. So uh, my research kind of was halted, and I was looking for something to go to market with. And I was going to trade shows. I was meeting with doctors. I was meeting with various people with various disabilities. So that came to a stop. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to continue my research to find the one product that I can go to market with and impact the maximum amount of people? And so I wrote the book. That was the a source of research. And I started the podcast. And they, as you know, they both have the same name, Mobility and Inclusion. And for me, because as I said, mobility, it's not only people with wheelchairs. It's mobility is me. Maybe I hurt my ankle from a missed step that I took while I was walking, right? Or the extreme case would be a completely paralyzed person, right? And there's a whole lot of people in between that. So mobility targets a, a vast amount of population. And as I'm sure you know this, throughout the world, there's 1 billion people with disabilities approximately.
Yes.
And this is not
Mhm.
my statistics, this is from the World Health Organization. But if you think about their families, that almost takes you to 2 billion people, because the families of people with disabilities are also, quote unquote, limited with how they can move around. So by providing accessibility to the person with a disability, you're actually providing accessibility to their relatives and their caregivers. And that's what we're trying to do ultimately.
It opens up a lot.
Absolutely. Well, we'll bring everybody to a level playing field. And, now the opportunities are bigger, the possibilities are bigger. And that's what we need to look at. We always improve our situation, improve people's situation, and impact people's lives.
I'm so glad I got to see you again and talk with
Likewise.
you. And um, you're just doing wonderful things. And I enjoy what on your Facebook page you have little lives that you do. We talk about leadership
Yeah.
and business. And
Yeah, because and the reason I do that is because I'm really passionate about leadership, and my MBA education allowed me to dive more into leadership and being successful at leading people, and ultimately, each one of us is a leader, aspiring to lead ourselves to bigger and better things. So how do we do that? And that's why I'm passionate about it. I love to talk about it, and I love to educate people about it. So it's something that I enjoy doing.
that's great. So, can you give us the information where we can get a hold of you if viewers out there would like to watch your lives or
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. So you can. My website is www.markbotics.com, and Mark Botics is spelled Markbotix. So the little play on the word there. Um, and you can find me on Instagram under Harut. Well, it's HAR, the number 8, then MARK. And also Mark Botics. I have an Instagram page on there. You can find me on LinkedIn, both the company Mark Botics and myself, Harut Markarian, and on Facebook as well. So that's everywhere I am, really.
thank you so much, Mark Botics and Harut, for being our sponsors today. And I've enjoyed this a lot.
Thank you so much, and it was great seeing you, Donna, again.
I
I
know.
appreciate it.
I know. Okay, take
All
care.
right, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.